Good evening and welcome to the Meathead podcast. I'm Ron Harris. Joining me as always, Big Mike Cox, today being Phil Williams in the comments in the live chat. Any of you have any idea who he is and don't Google it, that's cheating, let us know. And two amazing guests today, Justin Compton, Chris Tuttle, both IFBB Pros, both renowned prep coaches as well. And that's what we're talking about today. Instead of talking about industry gossip, coach hopping. I want to talk about the practice of coach hopping, which I said pros and cons because there might actually, I'm going to play devil's advocate at some point and try to come up with an idea or some ideas why that might not be a horrible idea. But we'll start with you, Justin, because we're going in a counterclockwise, clockwise type of thing. You have a coach. When you were competing, did you have a coach? Did you have multiple coaches?
So when I was doing the amateur, I worked with Shelby Starnes for my first local level show win. And then I worked with Factory from 2011 to 2013, I think to the end of 13. So there was about a 3-year period there that I was with Factory.
Yeah.
And then I started doing my own thing. And then I let Matt take over for the 2016 Arnold. And the rest of the preps and off seasons I did myself.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's Matt Jansen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there was Matt Porter was a coach too. Chris, how about you? Did you have coaches?
Yeah. My very first coach was Christian Chuli, my sister's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend at the time. He was sponsored by ProLab back in the 90s. And I didn't know anybody. So I didn't know who to go to. So I tried to track him down after my sister had been broken up for like 2 years. And I was like, hey, can you help me bodybuild? And I used to drive to New York every weekend for him to look at me, make changes. And that was my first prep coach. And then I prepped myself for 3 other shows after that, which I did very well. Read Chris Tuttole's books. And then Factory helped me. And after Factory, it was Aceto. And then after Aceto, I'm sorry. It was Factory. And then after that, I prepped myself. And then it was back to Factory. I won 2 overalls by myself and then went back to Factory. And then after Factory was Aceto. I worked with Aceto for 2 shows. And then I did Andrew Vu.
Okay. So Justin, that reminds me of this question. You worked with coaches and you also prepped yourself. Looking back, did you do a pretty decent job yourself, or do you wish you had stayed with a coach for all your shows?
No, I'm actually glad that I branched off and did my own thing. And that's not saying that anyone did anything wrong in the process of that, but it gave me a chance to I kind of like the problem solving aspect of it, to be fair. Like, I would take my own pictures. I'm looking at my progress. I treated myself like I was a client. I couldn't get emotional with myself and, say, oh, you're flat or this. It's like, no, you still have to do what you have to do. I actually enjoyed it, to be honest. Like, Factory brought me in probably the leanest. Like, if you were to put me in like a bod pod or the hydrostatic testing, it was probably the leanest I ever was when I won my pro card, and that was with him. So he kind of taught me. I don't know if you'd say teach me, but he pushed me to the point where I knew, like, I didn't know I was capable of reaching that level of conditioning. And then once I got to that level, it's like, okay, now you have the mental strength that you can replicate this. But like, I did things a little bit differently when I did it myself. So Factory helped me get my pro card, and then I got 5th in my pro debut under him as well. And I was just simply outsized at that show. Nothing went wrong. I wasn't going to beat Rolly Winkler, right? That was a very good version of Rolly as well.
Yeah.
I personally think I should have been 3rd in that show, but that's irrelevant. And then the following year, I had a very successful off season, and I did my own prep for the Orlando Pro, and that's when you guys probably knew who I was at that point.
Yeah. You would have. I don't know if you ever beat Rolly, but I'm damn sure you would have eventually.
I did at the Arnold.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I did get it.
Yeah, Chris, same thing. When you coached yourself, how was it different? And did you prefer the way you looked coaching yourself versus when other people were guiding you?
Well, it was fun, and like Justin just said, sometimes coach raises the bar, like your expectation for yourself. So like my first show, I didn't do very well. I got like second to last. even despite help. So like when I read Chris Tuttle books and I prepped myself, I had a lot of fun. It was blast doing it myself and learning and changing this and being the control seat. And obviously I achieved 13 pounds heavier stage weight and better condition, but it wouldn't be considered great condition today's standards of carry glutes, right? It's like good enough to win, but like, it wasn't like peeled. And then when Fockery helped me, he brought great condition to Atlantic States that year, and I won Atlantic States heavyweight division. And that was like the level of condition and hardness I've never seen. So now it's like, oh, this is where I need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that helped me open up to new ideas, because it is like when there's no internet, because back in the day when I competed 2006, 2007, when I first started, there was really no chats. I wasn't on any forums. So I was just kind of learning myself. There's nothing to bounce ideas off of. So like the coaching thing kind of opened up different strategies and ideas and things I didn't think of before. So it definitely helped. But I had a lot of fun prepping myself. I thought it was great. I prepped myself for those 2 overall shows that I won, Cutler and then NPC Vermont. And I thought that was a blast. It was just fun. But I think my overall best look ever, if I was going to say size, condition, everything, was North Americans. I ended up getting 5th because I was last to get on stage. I missed all the call outs.
If you missed the call outs.
Fockery goes, dude, you got to get one more meal in before you go on stage. And I'm like, okay. So it's 8:00. Prejudging starts at 8. My buddy's girlfriend at the time messaged me, hey, middleweights are on stage. And I'm like, what? So I run downstairs and the lady's like, dude, you missed it. And as I'm walking away, some guy goes, dude, you're 101. We need you on stage. And as I'm walking out on stage, it's the last call out. I didn't even do my individual routine. I didn't pump up. I didn't have any oil on. I didn't put my top coat of tan on. And then I go out there and Steve looks at me and he's like, 101, please stay. Can I call back out? And he called back out 7 of the top 10. And then he judged me and then comes off. And then I get back my phone. Everybody's like, yo, bro, why didn't you have tan on? Why didn't you have oil on? Why didn't you pump up? But that was probably my best overall look with Fokker that time.
Okay. And Mike, now you won a few overalls in the NPC. You never had a coach, correct?
Jim Momini in 1996 for the Ohio. He gave me my diet, right? It was basic diet. That's the only time someone's ever kind of coached me. For me, dude, it was more my own ego and control. I didn't trust people, right? There weren't coaches back when we were competing. And from 89 to 96, I did my own thing, right? I won overall 95 at the lightweight, but I was doing stupid shit around like broccoli and tuna the last 4 weeks because that's what the dude in the gym told me to do. It was more bro science for me. But looking back, I really wish I would have hired a coach. I think I would have done way better with a coach. I never had that extra layer of that crispness. I was good, but I didn't kind of push myself that extra little bit from not having a coach. But it was just ego, man. It was just pure ego. And part of me was Tony Montana, part of me was a bodybuilder, right? I was never all in the sport. Off season was whatever, off season, chill, party. Then 20 weeks out, flip the switch, go. But, I think people give a coach a lot of credit, as they should, but it was just a control thing, man. I'm a control freak, and I like having control. If I F it up, I want to fuck it up, right? But
you were a lot of life in that sense.
Yeah, I didn't eat enough. I did too much cardio. I did too much T3. I didn't take enough gear. So I got by more on genetics than like super scientific training and dieting. But I think, coaches are vital. It keeps your mind straight, bro. I would go crazy sometimes. And my friend would go, oh, do more cardio. You're fat. That was coaching back in the 90s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're both older than you guys. You guys are you're young chaps still, basically. You're not even 50. So, but I mean.
Not even 50.
So you are 50 now?
No, I'm 42.
Oh, I say you guys are nowhere near 50 yet. But I'll start with you because Justin, you and Chris both came up in an era where coaching was very commonplace. Most people had coaches, and you have to listen to the old timers, guys like Sean Ray, Kevin Leverone, once in a while they'll say, we didn't have coaches and nobody needs coaches, and you'll hear that argument from them. But then on the other hand, if you consider bodybuilding to be a sport and the bodybuilders are athletes, what athlete, especially at the higher levels, doesn't have, if not one coach, like a whole slew of different coaches? Football, how many different types of coaches are there in football? I have no idea.
Tons.
So
coordinator, quarterback coach, line coach, D-line coach.
It's a very individualistic question on that, because you have like Kevin and Sean who said that you didn't need coaches and stuff like that. But I can also argue that point and say, first off, before I get to that point, did Dorian have a coach, or he did his own thing, right?
He coached himself, yeah.
Okay, so there's that. So there's that side of the argument. But then we can look over at Dexter Jackson, who not only had a coach, he had Charles personal training him as well. And he was a Mr. Olympia winner and obviously in the most winningest bodybuilder of all time. So, to each their own on that.
What do you think, Chris?
Yes, same. I don't like when people use their individual experience and universally think that actually everybody else should follow.
Exactly.
I usually take someone's, opinion like that and just throw it in the garbage, because at that point in time, like, you can't sit there anecdotally just transfer your own crap to everybody else.
Yeah, some people I think are so genetically blessed that I think anybody could coach them, or they could coach themselves. I never had a coach, and a couple things. I was arrogant. I thought I knew it all. And looking back, I'm like, wow, I was really stupid. Now that I think about it, how ignorant I was about a lot of the things, especially the PED side of it. But I have to look back and think, man, if I had a coach, I was never going to light the bodybuilding world on fire anyway, but I would have been a little better than I was. But, my ego and being cheap and just, a whole bunch of things. But let's get into the coach hopping thing, because that's what we're here to talk about, is the difference between staying with one coach, which we saw with athletes like Ronnie Coleman, from what I remember, always had Chad Nichols. I don't think Ronnie was ever coached by anybody else. Flex Lewis always had Neil Hill from like second amateur show as a teenager all the way to retiring. And Phil Heath, I believe Phil Heath had Hani all the way from
he had someone else before he turned pro.
Okay.
I think, and don't quote me on this, be exact. I think he had a little bit of engagement with Farah, but there's also another guy, and I apologize if I don't remember this guy's name, but he trains at Armburst.
Yeah.
And he's not a social media guy. He just kind of minds his own business, but he's good at what he does. And he's the guy who trained Jeremy Bundia when he came back as well.
Okay.
So I think that guy helped Phil, if I'm not mistaken. So I may be wrong on that, but I know he had some guidance before he got with Hani.
Okay.
But obviously he found his stride with Hani, and then he stayed with him.
Right. I only remember him with Hani, but now that you mention it, that makes sense that he was with a couple other guys before that, because I don't think Hani even knew about him until he turned pro.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really did.
No.
I think he won Junior Nationals?
It happened fast. So
Junior Nationals to USA. It was like a 3-month span where no one knew who he was, and then everybody knew who he was.
Yeah. And then won his first 2 pro shows.
Yeah. It was pretty damn great. But Justin, as far as working with a bunch of different coaches versus staying with one coach, I guess if it's the one coach isn't that great and you don't have a great working relationship and getting results, that's just stupid to stay with one person. But I see a lot of guys work with one coach for one show, and either they don't win or they don't think they looked as good as they should have, and immediately they go on to somebody else over and over and over and over again. I don't know how much of this you've seen, how much you've been subjected to it personally as a coach, but what are the benefits between staying with one coach versus maybe rotating coaches throughout your career?
Well, it can have its pros and cons. If you feel like that you're not making the progress that you think that you should make, and also you got to think about this from your own knowledge perspective. Like when you go from a guy who is known, like say, for example, Shelby was known to be more of a low carb approach, while Factory with me was a very high carb approach. So after I saw a little bit of like how Factory handled his clients and stuff, and this was 2010, 2011 range. So what little information was actually out there, I thought to myself, I was like, I'm a very high carb tolerant guy. So I was like, I'm going to give this guy a shot. So for me, it actually let me see that I was able to do that. So it actually worked to my favor. However, Shelby didn't miss the mark with me. I was a little flat. I mean, could I have stayed with him and still had the same results? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, we never will know the answer to that. But I mean, I don't see any reason if someone drops the ball like really, really bad and you just show up at like 8, 9% body fat, like, yeah, at that point, move on. If they're sitting there blowing smoke up your ass, telling you that you're ready. I mean, if you work with a coach for 4 or 5 shows and maybe there's one that's a little bit off, I don't think you should throw them under the bus because it's a learning curve sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, if something goes wrong one time, that's an experiment. But a good coach will correct that. If it happens over and over again, like you said,
Yes. If it's repeated, it's time to move on.
But at the same time, if you're looking for a coach in the first place, you would think most people would investigate their track record, look at clients. I mean, does this coach peak people consistently, or is he very hit or miss? That's why you guys and all the big name coaches have the big names, is because you consistently deliver results for these clients.
Yeah, as much as I'm not a fan of social media is very beneficial to me because a lot of the guys that I get have already reached out to my current clients, like through DMs. They're like, hey, what do you think about Justin? I'm sure Chris gets the same thing. Like when people come to me, they're like, oh, well, I came to you because of Will, Joe, Paul, whoever.
Yeah.
And which means they've already kind of filled me out to see like what's his response time, how does he like to do things. So it's kind of like they get like a preview, so to say.
Yeah, Chris, same thing. I mean, what is the process of learning a client? Because like Justin said, this guy had a high carb approach, low carb approach, but you would think any really good coach, great coach, would realize that people are different, and some people it's going to take a while to see what they respond to in terms of different foods, different PEDs, different amounts of cardio, and so on. So how long is that process? What does that look like when you're trying to figure out a client?
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, I'm going to say nobody bats 1,000.
Right.
There's nobody bringing in everybody 100% all the time. Even when we're working the same person, like how many times have we seen Dexter slightly off and he's the most consistent bodybuilder ever, right? And there's so many factors that are involved. It's like someone's not just going to be like, oh, just come in fuller and harder. Oh, okay, I'll snap my fingers and have that happen. You know what I mean? Like it's not always the case. But typically when I hear Justin, like that era of coaches talk about like their only one way approach, and I know you are, Justin. It's like we are the approach of whatever works for that person. I don't have any one methodology. Like if someone's doing lower carb, we do low carb. That's how they work. That's how they work. But I'm not like I'm a low carb guy or defining as a high carb guy. But learning people can take some time. Luckily, I feel like every year, I'm sure Justin's the same way, like I get better at learning them quicker. And I like to have somebody at least 20 weeks out. I don't want to have somebody 12 weeks out. Like, what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? Like now I'm like trying to like catch up and trust what they've already been doing. So this is what you've been doing. You sure? Yep. So I've been doing. And all of a sudden you give them the same plan with the smallest tweak and you have a drastic change. You're like, well, clearly you weren't doing that. Exactly. But as far as like peaking people, like you do learn like little nuances. Okay. I know next time not to do this much and do this a little bit less because, diuretic response, how much someone can tolerate food, how their anxiety level the week before the show. It's such a huge factor in carbing up, like what we can do to control that, mitigating injuries or sleep or digestion. But I would say for me, 2 shows.
Okay.
I need 2 for sure.
Yeah. So do you guys think that if someone should do their own prep first, that way they can kind of know their body first, kind of learn what works for them and what not for them, and then come to you guys as an expert? Because it seems like kids now, like I'm going to hire a coach, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. Like back in the day, a lot of us came from a sports background, right? So we found bodybuilding and we had we have coaches, so it's trial and error, right? We just learn our body that way. But if you get a guy, like say a 20-year-old that's not in great shape, I want to do a show right now, would you take him on? Or would you say, hey man, maybe you do your own thing for a little bit and kind of get more feedback? Or how does that work?
Go ahead,
I
Justin.
think it would depend on how close they are, because I have had people come to me at like as close as like 2 weeks out and want me to take over, and I'm like, this if this backfires, it's on me, and I'm not going to take responsibility. Like, I don't know what happened the last 10 to 12 weeks. I wasn't involved in that. So even if they're in shape, I'm very nervous. Like, I don't really want to go down that road. And I'm like Chris, I would rather have 20 plus weeks with someone to be able to figure things out. And I feel like if I have that, I'm gonna 99% of the time I'm gonna nail it. As far as like having someone do their own thing, I don't know about blindly doing that, because, and I'm sure we've all seen this. We've seen people who is fat, but yet in their mind they're shredded. And then we've seen the opposite when we see people go too far. Like, it's like you're already lean enough. You dropped another 20 pounds that you didn't need to drop. So it's like maybe having someone who's competed before, not maybe not you don't use them as your coach, as a second eye, like another bodybuilder in your gym, just to kind of take a look at you and say, hey, yeah, you need to push harder, or no, you've gone too far. Like I said, maybe not coach them, but like let them know if they're on the right track or not, per se. Because to be fair, like when I coached myself as a teenager, I did like my first 5 shows natural myself, and I could have went a lot harder. I just didn't have someone in my corner to say, hey man, even though I won, that was a genetic factor, is why I won. I wasn't the hardest guy, I wasn't the leanest guy, but I had the best shape. I could have definitely pushed myself much harder.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the two extremes: is people that they don't push themselves hard enough, and the ones that push themselves way too hard.
Yeah.
I was the moron that would start doubling my cleanse, doubling my T3, doing another hour cardio because I gotta get those glutes in, and the muscles just muscle that I didn't have to spare. It was just wasting away. But let me ask you this. I'll start with Chris. How do you know if it's a good fit? Because I think any good coach-client relationship is just that, a relationship. The communication has to be there. You have to understand each other. And I know not everyone is coachable. I mean, I like what Mike said. Most bodybuilders do have a sports background, but a lot of them, they don't. And they never had a coach or had anyone guiding them in that way. And I've seen and heard people, people come to me even like, oh, my coach says this. What do you think? I said, I think you should listen to your coach. So how do you know when you're talking to a prospective client, Chris, is this going to work or is this not going to work? How do you figure that out?
Honestly, you don't know, because I've had people before where like, oh, this guy seems legit. And then like, I'll do anything you say. And then all of a sudden he's doing an extra hour cardio in the high days to try to counter the high days because he's worried about getting fat. And I'm like scratching my head, like, what? Why aren't you filling out? I don't understand. Like what? And then he tells me all these different things he was doing. Like, you don't know. I'm very lucky. The group of guys I have now are absolutely outstanding. And I don't have any issues with any of my guys. I love all of them. They're all great. And they've been good. And I think sometimes, like, I think, Justin, you might feel this too, is because people know our personalities and they know how we operate, I feel like we attract people who are similar. So like the percent of people that contact me, I kind of jive well almost right away. And if they don't, and it looks like they're a big drugger, I'm just like, dude, I can't help you. Like, I can't help you. Like I usually will try to have that conversation first of what their expectations are with their rate of progress or their drug use. And if they're like a big drugger, there's a couple coaches that are known for pushing some serious shit. And like, I used to deny any client coming from them because I just didn't want to deal with it. So I was just like, no, I can't help you. They're like, oh, why? Like, I'm too busy right now. Sorry. Because I just didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Justin, what's your screening process like? How do you know if this client's going to work or not with you?
So I don't have like a pre-screening process per se. Like I don't do like phone consultations before people work with me, but I kind of have an idea, like probably within the first 2 or 3 days of communication with the person. Like I always want people's past experiences. Like if you've taken XYZ and you've had this issue with it, tell me that. I need to know that. However, I've had some people hire me and just straight up say, I'm going to do this, this, this. And I'm like, then why did you hire me? Because like you're telling me how to do my job with you. And I already know that person.
Nope.
Oh, no.
We lost him.
Well, I'll continue until he comes back.
Yeah, please.
No, but the same similar points. Communication's a big one, and like asking, like many times people come like, oh, so my first question I ask too a lot of times is like, why are you wanting to change coaches? I want to know the reason why. Yeah, go ahead, Justin. Is he back? You still back yet? No, but like, why do you want to change coaches? What were the issues? You know, and sometimes like it's kind of, oh, I've had 4 coaches in the last year. Ooh, okay, that's a little worrisome. And there'd be some issues along the lines of that you try to diffuse or be like, hey man, like I can't help you, you know. But what we said something earlier about picking people up like 2 weeks out. I've had a few clients. Here, go ahead, Justin.
I'm sorry. A phone call came in and I noticed like the 2 little screens there both went black, and I'm like, great. And then they left a voicemail on top of it. So I struggled to get, like, I don't know why. Like you guys are probably on the laptop though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. So apparently if you get a phone call, it just completely shuts this down.
It does. Sorry about that. So
no, I'm sorry. It's my fault.
Tuttle picked it up for you. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, well, I want to ask you, I mean, how often have you had to let people go because either they weren't doing what you asked them to, or they were lying about, you know, maybe you saw an Instagram post where they're posting all this crap they were eating that it's not on their diet plan, or just that you found out they were second guessing you and talking to a bunch of other people. I mean, how often does that happen versus, you know, I'm sure most people aren't this way, but do you have to let people go occasionally because it's just not working out? They're not coachable.
Seldomly.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not very often.
Same. It's not very often. It's a very awkward conversation. But, you know, I have found that one thing that kind of has helped me, and it's actually helped me with someone very, very recently as well. I kept getting his check-ins, and I'm like, I know you're not listening. In my head, I'm like, I know you're not executing on this. Like, it's not only would you not be losing fat, you would be losing muscle. You would be like a bantamweight by now if you were actually doing this. Instead, you're gaining weight. So I actually, whenever I kind of confronted him about it, like I debated on dropping him. And I kind of told him, like, either you're going to have to man up or we can part ways. And he actually manned up. Like he fessed up to me what he was doing. And I kind of felt bad because he was going through a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, the judges don't care what you're going through. It's still a matter of what you bring to the stage. And I feel like, and I told him as well, like, this is where communication, you need to talk to me. Tell me what's going on. We can postpone the show. We can do what we have to do. But like, you telling me that you're on plan and you not being on plan is not going to work. Like, I've been in this game for 4 years now. You're not going to fool me at this point. Like, you may slide here and there, but you're not going to fool me an entire prep. That's something that you're doing what I'm telling you to do and you're not. So, yeah, I actually had that conversation with him and things are going great now.
Oh,
I mean, I had to just straight up call him out on it. Yeah. But we're doing good. We have a good working relationship. And like, I wasn't mean about it. I wasn't an asshole. You know, I just asked him what's going on. It's like, is it the cardio? Is it the diet? Or is it both? Which one are you not doing? Because I know you're not doing something.
Yeah.
Same thing. You have non-compliance. Does that happen?
No, I take the approach where I was just like, hey man, like, listen, I don't know what's going on here. Like, you need to go back and look at very carefully the portions, making sure a teaspoon's not a tablespoon, making sure you're looking at your condiments, making sure balsamic vinegar is not balsamic vinaigrette. Somebody did that once. You know, I can't believe it's not butter spray. It has fat in it. Like, you can't be spraying that on everything and everything, you know?
I love that stuff.
I usually will say that. And then, like, if they can't progress, they're like, coach, what do we do? I'm like, listen, I don't know, man. Like, I'll be telling you right now, like, I don't know. Your response is like 1 out of a million. Like, I don't know what you're doing. And like, I don't know what to tell you. So like, moving forward, I'm going to try one more try. And I usually go one more try. And I'm going to you can only have these 4 foods, only these 4 foods in the plan, nothing else. If anything's not written on that plan, you can't have it. And then we're going to go 4 days and I'm going to wait for your feedback. I'm not going to tell you what I think you're going to feel like. I'm just going to wait for your feedback. And if everything and nothing changes, then we're going to part ways because I don't know how to help you. And then sure enough, 90% of the time, something drastic changes in that time because all of a sudden they started doing it. And I never confront them ever again. But there's been a couple people that are non-compliant, missing check-ins constantly, eating off plan. And I said, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I can't help you. He's like, I'm going to do better. I'm like, dude, there's other people on my wait list that are wanting to work for me, and you're sitting there and this has been 2 months of this, man. Like, I don't care getting paid or not. I don't want to, like, I can't help you. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But who hires somebody not to do the plan though? Like what?
You know, I had a
make
conversation with
sense.
Dusty Hanshaw. I think we were either watching Masters Nationals or North Americans. It was at Pittsburgh. That's all I remember. And Dusty was helping someone out for that show, and we were just kind of making small talk. And he said, you know, when clients come to him and they say this or they say that, you know, kind of like an excuse as to why they're not making progress. The first thing he says is like, go get your hormones checked. Just go get your labs, get your thyroid, get everything else checked. And he goes, if it comes back clean, he goes, then I call him out. And I'm like, you're full of shit. Like like, you know, if you know Dusty, you know he's very blunt and straightforward too.
Yeah, he's great.
So I thought about that. I remember that from like almost probably going on 10 years now since that conversation happened. So I've had people do that. Like if I see something like, I can't really tell if this guy's not following, maybe something's wrong. I'll be like, hey, go run this lab or that lab. And if it comes back good, I'm like, okay, my instinct was right and you're screwing up.
Huh. So,
And to this day, I've not had a lab come back that, no, I'll take it back. I had one guy who had literally had fake gear completely, all like 750 milligrams of test. His test levels is like 200.
Oh,
So I did have that happen. But see, his was the opposite. Like he's just dropping like 5 or 6 pounds a week. And
Yeah,
he's
you're like,
not
what?
he's not getting like harder the way he should be.
I mean, that's got to be a huge issue.
That's
too.
not his fault though.
It's not his fault, but I mean, you know, not everyone can get the best quality farmer grade stuff. Some people they're not going to have the connections or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to get deep into it, but that, you know, that was like what they claim. A lot of people were speculating happened to Nick Walker that year. You know, he never came out and said that. He never actually came out and said what the hell the real problem was when he missed the 24 Olympia.
Was that the hamstring injury?
That was 23. That was an injury. But 24, I don't remember him ever.
Body wasn't responding or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, when Matt told him, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I remember that
Yeah.
little
Yeah, it was,
Instagram post.
it was him and Matt on a couch for like 15 minutes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I heard nothing. I was like, they didn't really say anything in 15 minutes, but
Oh, I remember this now. Yeah.
Yeah.
but you know, forget about the gear thing. Talking about clients, I mean, when they're up on that stage, they're representing you. Like if I'm at a show and I see someone who looks awful, the condition, I'm like, oh, who the hell coached this knucklehead? You know, because instantly you're going to blame the coach. You guys get the blame. You get the credit when they look awesome, but you also get the blame when they don't look great. And I'm sure many times it's not something that it's not like you told them, don't do any cardio. I want you eating pizza every day. You know, how much do you feel that sense of pride or responsibility where you know people are going to be either blaming you or praising you depending on how this person looks?
You want me to go first? Well, I'm just going to add one thing. What I find interesting is with adherence, that when some of my clients win bigger shows, all of a sudden I get better results with all my other guys the next month. And I'm like, I remember a couple of guys, I was like, bro, like, what are you doing different? Like, we've been on the same plan. And all of a sudden, like, you're crushing check-ins. I don't know, man. Your guy winning North Americans, I'm just so motivated now. And I'm like, bro, you holding out on me? Like, you know, like they get motivated, like see your guys do well, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna kill it. And next week they do. It's like, wait, were you not killing it the previous month? Like, we were making ground, but all of a sudden now we're making like gamma radiation ground. You know what I mean?
I've had similar stuff happen as well.
You know, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Ron, well, sorry.
what was the
So
question?
like, I don't care when it comes to like clients. Like, of course I want my clients to do well, and that's what matters most to me. I really don't care that much. Actually, it's not even really a thought when like someone's on stage and they're not 100%, and I know they're not. Like, I'm not worried about social media. I'm not worried about what people think, because like I know what happened, and I know they might be better than they were last time. That's what matters.
Yeah.
I might have only had 4 weeks with them, whatever the fact may be. If somebody's really not ready, I'm gonna tell them they're not ready, not to do it. But like, if somebody's a little off, it's like, ah, fuck. Like, I'm more upset that I couldn't figure it out in time, or I'm more upset for them. But I'm never like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna get dragged under the bus in the public eye. I could really care less about what internet says.
Yeah.
Now, how are you guys as far as clients posting pictures online? Because as a fan, when I see those pictures online, I expect those guys to look great on stage, right? So some guys post a lot,
That was my
like
dog.
Rita doesn't
What are we,
post. So how are your
Mike, can I
clients?
hear
Do you
you?
want them
Or can
posting
you
or
guys
no?
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay, it just went like silent. I was like, I don't know if
Okay.
am I supposed to go now or like
No.
what are we doing?
No, Mike's still
Um,
talking about the clients posting on social media, and that's what we expect to see them looking exactly that way on stage. Go ahead, continue, Mike. Finish that.
No, it's just it's funny because we see those pictures and like with James on so looked awesome. Like I thought that show he was gonna win that show. Like the France show, I believe. He
Yeah.
looked phenomenal, but something not as coach, something happened between the pictures and on stage, but I get so hyped when I see like
Can you guys hear Mike?
300 pounds.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
can
mean?
hear. But it bear like I can hear him.
All
but I
I'm
can't see
seeing is
him.
hand movements.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh,
Oh, son of a bitch. I had a
Like
good thing.
I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I can hear you guys.
you can't hear
I
Mike?
can hear you, Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally can't hear him.
Okay, well, I'll translate, Mike. So finish it, and I'll tell him.
That's
So
weird.
that was it. Social media pictures.
Yeah. Do you?
How's
So
that feel?
Justin, yeah. Do you have? Do you ever say to your clients, don't post a ton of pictures? You encourage them to post because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. But we do get these expectations of how great someone's going to look. And he just mentioned Hollingshead in particular show. I think Chris was working with that show. We'll talk about James in a second, in a good way. But what do you just the whole? What's your commentary, Justin, on this? Because that's so standard now. Is like we get some people updating every damn day. Well, I'm 12 weeks and 6 days out. I'm 12 weeks and 5 days out. It's the same freaking picture, same place. And does that sort of undermine what you're doing, or doesn't affect you at all?
It doesn't really bother me if that's what they do. There has been times where like if I have like a unicorn, so to say, and I know this person is just going to drop jaws when they go on stage. Usually like a week to 2 weeks out, like let's assume they're not known, right?
Yeah.
It's like I really didn't want like there was a video that came out of Joe this past year, right before Tampa. He actually posted the video on I saw it online before he ever sent it to me. And I saw it, and I was like, damn, I wish he hadn't have posted that because like no, everyone kind of wrote him off. And like maybe I'm trying to like live vicariously on this because I always kind of liked when I was up and coming. I liked being the dark horse. Like I wouldn't post anything, I wouldn't say anything, and I just show up. Like I knew I was on, and I knew like he was on. Or I can name like 4 or 5 other clients that I've actually probably 8 to 10 clients that I've had over the years that has been like top tier, top level. And I'm like, man, I really wish you wouldn't post because I want people to just be flatlined whenever they see you.
Mm.
Like I like that dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Like even when I had Jonathan Withers, he was one of the guys. People were talking about this guy's going to win nationals, that guy's going to win nationals. I told John, I was like, don't post, just don't post. Just show up, kick their ass, and then we'll laugh about it later.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just kind of something that I like. That's like me. But like if I have someone who likes to post, I'm not going to actually tell you, hey, you're not allowed to post on your social media. No, do what you want. You're free to do. I just like that wow factor.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I've had somebody long time ago edit photos and post them. And then my other clients are like, bro, this dude's editing his photos. You should say something. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I really don't care. Like, I can't be bothered with it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I understand what Justin's saying. Like, like don't post or whatever. But most of the time I'm telling my clients to get off social media and stop looking at other people.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, oh, I see so-and-so's competing against me. I'm like, why do you even care? They're posting pictures. Obviously they're better than they are. So why are you even looking at that?
Yeah.
If I had a client that was like a top level guy and he's editing his photos, I probably would have to say something on that because I don't know who your biggest name is. Not that any of that's relevant, but like if he's making himself 15 or 20 pounds bigger with Photoshop, and then when he shows up on stage, people are kind of like, whoa, what happened here? And then they'll ask you
That's a good
questions.
point.
So like if I saw it, like if it's a first time competitor, I'm probably just going to turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
But if it's someone at a high caliber with a lot of following, I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to make yourself look like an ass because you're going to end up on Goop's page, And you're also going to make me look like an ass too when you show up half the size that you actually are. But you know, the craziest story I had is this guy did this to me and another coach, and he has no idea that we talked as well. Like, he has no idea that I'm friends with this guy. He would check in, and his check-in photos were edited.
Oh,
I let that go for a month. I was like, okay, well, you know what? I've already invested my time into building his training program, building things out. I was like, I'm going to let it go for a month, and I'm just not going to say anything. This has been like 7, 8 years ago, and I just dropped him at that point. I kind of gave him like a kind of like an FU approach. It was like, dude, we're not a good fit, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to continue this relationship. He went to one of my friends and was doing the same thing to him. So we just laughed about it. And my buddy actually took his money for like 4 months doing that too.
what's crazy is it's like you're not helping yourself. You know
I don't know what the guy's point was. I mean, it like, and the thing is, I'm just going to point blank say it, he looked like shit after the Photoshop. Like, I don't know what the point was. And to this day, it kind of mind boggles me why you would give your money to someone. You're not following the plan, you're editing photos. Like, do you want me to like pat you on the back and tell you that you look good? Is that what you're looking for? Like, I'm not sure. Like, is it an ego thing that you want me to tell you that you look good? And I never once complimented the guy either. I had nothing to compliment. I said he was out of shape, and like, he did it was so bad that it was like the walls were warping, and this was before Photoshop was like before people could actually spot it. Like, I wasn't even sure, like, I didn't even know how to do that shit like 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
I just know that was not normal shape for any of his muscle bellies.
or the door in the background, right?
Yeah, actually following Goob's page is kind of how I know how to spot Photoshop now.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's true.
I didn't know, like, and he mentioned the big arm, like on the girls and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they make their arm bigger in order to try to make everything else smaller or something.
Yeah.
I wish I knew how to do that.
Me too.
Yeah. How often? I'll start with you, Chris. How often do you get approached by people who are, I would just say, delusional, where they have this, they see something in the mirror that's really not there. They don't have potential to be a high echelon bodybuilder, maybe not even a pro, but in their minds, they see this entirely different physique, and they're going to have expectations of you. They'll tell you, I'm going to win the nationals, and then the next year after that, I'm going to win the Olympia. I mean, how do you deal with someone like that who's not really grounded in reality as much as they could be?
Luckily, I haven't had too many of that. I think because those people kind of like I kind of get that vibe from them right away. So I never really enter that relationship. But I've had people be like, oh man, I won. It's great. I'm ready to go to nationals. And I'm like, no. You're not ready for nationals. And it's like, oh, whoa, coach. What do you mean? And I'm like, well, dude, you're not ready. And they're like, well, I just won. I think I'm ready. I'm like, well, I'm telling you, like, do you want to participate or do you want to go to win? So you're saying you don't think I should win? Yeah, man, I'm saying you're not ready to win yet. Well, he's like, well, I disagree. I'm like, well, okay, then we'll go give it a shot. Like, okay, then fine, we'll do it. I've had that, and I had the opposite though, where somebody's so good, and they're like, I don't want to do a show yet until I'm ready. I'm like, bro, any show you're gonna do in the foreseeable future, in a local level, you're gonna destroy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh man, I don't know. And sure enough, they go and they just destroy it. And they're like, dude, I had no idea. I'm like, I know. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm the coach, dude. Like, I know, but it's funny when those guys make me laugh, because one of my clients, Jesse, he's not that bad. He won the masters at the bodybuilding at Universe, and he's so like, he's in his room posing all day long. And I go into his room. I'm like, bro, you look bonkers. He's like, you think so? You think I look all right? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, dude, we're spot on. He's like, you think I'll get top 5 tomorrow? And I'm like, bro, we're going to get the top 5. Okay, for sure, get the top 5. And he gets off stage, and it was the clearest winner of all day. And he gets off, and he's like, how did I do? You think I'm going to make top 5? I'm like, yeah, man, we're in the top 5. You think so? Then you have those guys. They make me laugh. I love those guys. But the other group is a little harder to deal with, because they're going to find somebody that tells them what they want to hear.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've dealt with both ends of that spectrum as well.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is Bolzano. I'm going to use him as an example. You guys remember him, right? Yeah. Brian, I think his first show asked like how I thought we were going to do, and I was like, you're fucking kidding, right? Like you've already won and you're 2 weeks out. Like, I basically guaranteed you're going to win that show. And then we went to the USA's. I could tell he was like very nervous going into it. Like, I don't think he had like the true level of confidence. And obviously, he walked in and he won the show.
Yep.
Well, he won his class. Sorry. Sean Ray had him winning the overalls in middleweight. That's how good he was.
Wow.
Dude, he was good. I remember seeing him. He didn't do the Ohio, won the Ohio. Brian, I think he won the Ohio one year. He destroyed.
I'm assuming Mike's talking because I can't hear anything.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Bolzano won the. He's trying to remember if he won the Ohio one year.
But he
He won the Mike Francois.
Mike Francois, he looked ridiculous. It was like he walked out. And it was like, we'll just give him the trophy now. Like sometimes some guys are so good, but like those genetic freaks are kind of maybe are easier to coach than maybe like Chris said, the delusional guy that wants to do nationals. And there's guys in my gym like that, and you don't want to be a dick and be like, bro, shouldn't do it, but you can just encourage them. Hey man, best of luck. Do what you got to do. But I think when you get to nationals and having a coach helps, getting that ass kicking at nationals is something that nobody should ever want to do. Like, that's why I think having a good coach on your side, because that national ass kicking it messes your head up for the rest of your career. Personally speaking, you know what I mean? Like, it makes a big difference.
Well, what I see a lot now is because coaching has become this billion-dollar business industry, whatever, everyone's a coach. You got like an 18, 19-year-old broccoli head kids coaching these days. A lot of them either have no idea what the competition level is going to be like at the national level, or they do, but they're not going to discourage anybody from competing because they want them to just keep competing and doing show after show to take their money. I mean, it's sad because a lot of these people who are nowhere near ready for nationals, it's a lot of money to do those shows, guys. It's these days, oh my God, especially if you're doing some crossovers. And they're going to nationals and getting like last call out, and their coach was the one who talked them into it and said, you got the great, you're getting your pro card. I mean, how do you guys probably work with more talented athletes who aren't in that situation, but still, does it bother you to see so many coaches just pushing people to do national shows because that's how they make their living?
I never actually push people to do it. Like, I've had some of my clients come to me and say that they want to do it. And I'm like, it's kind of like what Chris said earlier is like, well, do you want to win or do you want to be a contender to win? Or do you want to do it for experience? Like, I won't tell them no if they just want to go up there and say, just to see where they land in the playing field. But you're right. A lot of people will push them to do nationals. Like, that way they can say, I had 13, 14, 15 clients at nationals. So it looks good on Instagram. They're doing it for themselves and what's in their best interest and not what's in the actual athlete's best interest.
Tuttle, anything to add to that?
No, that's
Okay.
That's pretty, yeah.
All right, I wanted to pull this up, and again, this is because we're talking about coach hopping. I'm not calling Hollingshead out. I love James. I'm actually a big fan of James, but he's probably the prime example of someone who's gone through a lot of coaches. And this is a list. I believe it's a complete list, and we got some big names here: Patrick Tour, super high level coach; Jordan Peters, Phil Viz, Evan. Chris, you know Evan a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, it's my boy.
So if he had stayed, this is obviously a very hypothetical question. If he had stayed with any one of these people for maybe like 4, 5, 6 shows, do you think he might have been better off where that coach could have learned his physique, learned how it reacts to certain variables, and he would be at a higher point in his career right now? Or do you think because he said he's really not coachable. He's come out and said that. He's learning from each coach. So he's sort of doing like a college course every prep, in my mind, with every coach. But, obviously this is very hypothetical and we don't know what would have happened. But we'll start with you, Chris, because you actually did work with him. If he had stayed with you or Viz or Tour or Milos, do you think he might have had more success by this point?
I do. I mean, I can't vouch for every single coach here and like whatever issue was at the time. But I mean, just statistically speaking, when you're with a good coach that's not dropping the ball, being negligent and learning, you're going to have a better outcome over time, but you have to give that a shot. And obviously he's won some shows with quite a few of those guys. So it's like, okay, if there's a problem, then address it, change it, move forward. If there's a problem, don't just bail. because I do feel there's a little bit of that going on. The second there's an issue, it's bail out, go to the next person. That's kind of how I've understood, because, obviously when that happened to me and James, a lot of these guys reached out to me, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, told me their story or what happened, or, whatever the fact it may be. So it's like you start to hear a little bit of it. And I think that's probably why a lot of people do coach hop. They either there's a communication issue. Maybe they don't know how to articulate what they want to do differently, or what they see that is wrong. Or there was negligence, and then instead of like giving one more shot, they bail, or they thought they should have been better, even though they won, and they go out that way. It's probably a combination of all of that.
Yeah. Justin, what do you think about James?
I agree. I said I can't speak for every single one of these people on the list, but I mean, there's actually a couple of names on that list that I actually don't know. I don't know if I know a whole lot about Nathan or Zach. I'm assuming Zach is his current coach, just because that's at the end. I just don't know a whole lot about them. I think he would have done well with any of those guys. Otherwise, had he have stayed for multiple shows, I think he was with Jordan for a little while. Didn't he get his pro card with Jordan? Is that right?
That sounds right.
So it's like Jordan, I think Jordan did drop the ball at one particular show that I was at. It was like the 2018, or I think it was 2018 Tampa. James did that show, and he was way, way, way off at that show. I mean, I kind of saw it coming because I kind of knew what was going into it. Some people were telling me some stuff, but like, I think that was also them testing the waters to see how this was going to work. So it's not me taking a poke at Jordan. I just think that they had one show that they were way off on. Yeah. But I think if he would have stayed with them, and then that way he could have made the notes and be like, well, that was a bad idea. I mean, I wouldn't have personally made like anything drastic happen the last week, but either way, they could have made the notes. They could have figured out this didn't work, and then we move on and get better from there. So I think he would have improved and got better placings and just improved his physique all the way around had he have stayed with these guys.
Yeah, I mean that just makes sense, that if some things work and some things don't, and over time you're taking notes and you're eliminating that old Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do story. Get rid of the things that don't work, keep the things that do work, and eventually you're going to have a better outcome over time. I mean, he's a phenomenal bodybuilder. I just wonder if he'd be doing much better, if he'd be like a top 5, top 6 Olympia guy at this point, if he had stayed consistent with one coach. And we'll probably never know the answer to that.
I believe he would have been.
Well, here's another one for you. I often hear people, when someone has a bad placing or whatever, a pro, the fans will chime in and say they should hire or work with so-and-so. They'll fill in the boss. I remember when Boss was a hot name. Everyone's like, he should work with Boss of Outlaw, or he should work with, Aceto just got Derek the Olympia. He should work with Aceto. Why do you think the fans have this notion that it's one particular coach that this athlete's never worked with that's going to suddenly catapult them into the next level of superstardom?
I don't think it's more so like it's like when one coach has a standout athlete, right? I don't remember who Hani's was or who George's was or any of this like back in that era, but it was like when they had like that big hitter, everyone jumps on board. And then like during the time that I was competing, Matt got a hold of Dallas. Dallas won a show, and then all of a sudden it's like, you should work with Dallas. Matt. It's like, you want to work with Matt. And then it's the next guy, and then it's the next guy, and then it's the next guy. So it's just kind of like a fad that goes around per se. And it's not saying that any of those guys are bad, but the fans, when they see a coach bring someone in to like next level, all of a sudden it's like, this guy's got the magic and he's got the secret. And it's like, really, maybe that guy wasn't coachable before. Now he is. Maybe he wasn't listening then. Now maybe he is. Or maybe they're just a perfect fit. But that doesn't mean everyone needs to go work with that person.
Right.
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that. That was completely perfect.
Yeah. Well, Chris, let me ask you, because I believe you've worked with Jordan Hutchinson since either his first show or very, very early on in his career, correct?
Correct. Yeah. For 6 years now.
Yeah. So you've obviously had a lot of time and opportunity to perfect off-season prep, all of that with him. You don't have to go into detail, but what are some things that he he's benefited from having you as this long-term coach that he might not have if he had flip-flopped around with 3, 4, 5 different people in that time.
You know what's funny? He's one of the people that tried to work with me twice, and I said no.
Huh.
Because of who you worked with in the past. I was like, no, can't help you. And he finally was like, dude, I'll do anything you tell me to do. Please take me on. And then I'm like, all right, I'll take you on. Send me your pictures. Let's see what we got. And then I helped him. But no, like, dude, like Jordan and I, like, I didn't know because I didn't give him a chance. But as soon as I gave him a chance, we started talking. Like, we jived well, and I knew he was a good person. I like working with good people who I know they're a good person, like a well-rounded, integral person. I like that. I want to be associated with people like that. And then he was also very coachable. He's also very good at communicating and articulate information I need to know to make a great decision. He's also very coachable in the sense of, like, if he starts to get in his head, I can bring him back. And he doesn't go around asking 500,000 other people. Like, just like when I was working with anybody, I never was working with a Cito or Fakhri, showed anybody my pictures or showed what I was doing. I'm just listening to what he's doing and I'm doing my thing. I've never in my life done that. But like along the way, we just continuously learn what to do and what not to do. Luckily, we've been very lucky in making good decisions, or if there was potentially a decision that wasn't the best one, it was only dipping our toe in that decision. And then we're like, nope, not doing that, versus just taking the plunge with that decision. You know, like we've had a couple of those. We're like, well, we'll dip into that and then quickly pull back. That's not the right thing to do. But listen, like my relationship with Jordan is just great. And honestly, all the guys all behind me, Dom, Jesse, Christian, have all been with me for years and years and years. And like, just, I'm sure Justin, you have the same thing. Like, you learn them so well. You learn what to do with them the last week, so they're very calm and relaxed. You know how to like make them, you know what carb up they're going to do. You already have an idea how everything works. And then it's just like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're right there. We're 98.8%. And then next year we get 100%, you know, like you're just constantly making that ground. And those guys who've stayed with me that long, like have all done just that, you know?
Yeah. Same thing, Justin. You've had long-term clients. I mean, is it a big difference when somebody sticks with you for a period of years versus maybe 1 or 2 or 3 shows?
Yes. I personally feel like the guys that I've had, I can relate this all the way back to my training partner when I lived in Kentucky. I actually just wanted someone to train with at that time because I was in a different city, and I went to a local show and I saw this guy on stage. I seen him around at a couple of shows, and I knew he trained in Lexington. So I just approached him. I was like, hey, you know, I need somebody to train with. Like, you want to get together sometime? Became training partners, and then I ended up coaching him, and he had left his previous coach. And to be fair, his previous coach was, for lack of better words, an idiot. I could get a lot nastier with that, but I'm not. And then he stayed with me from that moment till the time he ended his career as a pro, and also winning a pro show too.
Wow.
So we continue to improve from one show to the next. And I've had a few guys like that as well. Like Chris was talking about with Jordan, I was Brian's only coach from start to finish. We only did 5 shows total. I mean, it's 5 shows. He wins the Mike Francois and ends up like 8th in the Olympia on his 5th show ever.
That's
so
awesome.
Not too shabby on that, but like
Pretty
every
good.
time that we competed, we were better in every single aspect. And right now, you know, it's like with Joe and Paul both are like 2 of my that I'm currently working with. They might actually be the guys that I have on my current roster that I've been with the longest right now. And I don't think we've never been worse. We've always gotten a better, whether it be by 5% or by 20%, but we've gotten better every single time.
Yeah. I mean, that's,
and it is like what Chris said. It's kind of like clockwork. Like, I know I don't have to use my brain that much because I know how their bodies work, and I can make some simple, small adjustments, and we get better with that. Like, I'm also taking notes as well along the way. Like, I probably got 50 notes on my phone. 50 or more. Like the guys that stay with me, I'm like, okay, this did this did that, you know. And I kind of, because you can't when you're dealing with 100+ people, you can't remember every single detail.
No.
So that's why you have to have a chart. I mean, with your long-term clients, if you got a guy who's only going to be with you for 3 months, I'm not going to waste storage on my phone for that. But if I've got someone who is going to be with me long term, yeah, I'm gonna take notes to this, and I'm gonna see what works and what didn't work, and I'm gonna make sure that moving forward, we're gonna beat the previous version by a long shot.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
Nice.
I want to finish up with something fun because I did tease
want-
it in the title.
Ron, I want to
Okay.
add one thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say the disappointment when you get like, when things don't work out, because we all had clients that disappoint us, back to like people leaving. I've had a client once, we won 2 overalls back to back, and the very next day he goes, I'm going to try a different approach. And I was like, whoa, I'm a little confused. And he explained it to me, which I understood. He wanted to see somebody in person. I get it. But I was obviously there's some upsetting things that happen, but the people like Joe that you have, Justin, and your long-term guys and my long-term guys, and then you're with them for a long term and you just keep winning and winning. Eventually you win something huge you never thought that they even thought they would be able to win. That was what makes it worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like some people said to me the other day, like I had people reach out to me like, bro, that's why I don't train pros. Pros are like the biggest pain in the ass people to train because they're always jumping ship, doing this, not listening. And like, I understand, but like, it's worth it when you have guys that stick with you. And that's why we do it.
Yeah.
You know?
I got a story on that as well. I had a guy, I don't remember exactly what year it was. This was pre-2020. We did a qualifying show for nationals, and he said something about, well, we can be like 85 to 90%. And I said, no, we're not doing that. So we're going to come 100% of the show, because if we don't, someone will. We showed up, we nailed it. We won the overall. This was in classic physique. And I will tell you that guy is now competing at the Olympia level on classic physique, and he's not with me either. We win a local level show, and the feedback from Sandy was, change nothing. You will win USAs. Change nothing. Well, he did change something. He changed coaches, and he showed up softer at the USAs, and he didn't win. I mean, he went on, like, I knew the guy had potential. It was just a matter of dialing it in. But this is where, like, we were talking about in the beginning of the show, like when you take somebody on with like 4 weeks and you don't know exactly what's going on. I had been with him for a long time. So I knew exactly what was going on, and I was ready to bring it to the USAs, and I feel 100% confident we would have won that class, and we would have also won the overall at that show. But the new guy that he got, and I don't even know if they're still working together or not, but the guy that he got was actually very talented as well. So I'm not throwing the guy to the bus, but he only had 4 weeks with him. And this guy's body was a little complicated. He was not your typical guy to dial in. I'll say that. He's also, you gotta know his head too. Like, you kind of have to calm him down, and if you get what I mean on that.
Yeah.
He's a very high anxiety, high stress guy. So he got with this new coach at like 3 weeks out. I have no idea why. I was like, dude, the head judge, and also going to be the head judge probably at the USA's, told you that you're going to win. Why would you change? But the thing is with me, when people say that, I don't question it, because I know in their mind, their decision's already made. Like, they've already came to this conclusion. So I just say, okay, man, I wish you the best. And I really do. I wished him the best. And that was that. But I knew he was leaving, and I'm not going to beg and plead. It's just like, think about like from a relationship standpoint, like teenagers, like, or in their 20s, like boyfriend, girlfriend shit. One of them says, hey, I want to break up. And the other one says, well, no. Their decision's made.
Yeah.
Walk away. Let it go.
I always want to know why. I say, like, that's cool, but I want to know why. Like, is there something that you think I did wrong? I'd like to know, and sometimes like people say something weird I didn't even think about. They're like, well, 4 weeks out, when I asked you if I had a cheat meal, you said no, you implied that I was a pussy. Like I like to know the reason why, especially if things go well,
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me. I interviewed boss Stephen Kienzle a couple months back, and he has a ton of clients. And I said, how can you possibly give good attention to all those people? And I wasn't trying to be a dick or anything, but he said, well, it's simple. It's all business. I don't want to be buddies with all these people. I tell them straight up, it's business when we talk. It's about your diet, it's about your cardio, your protocol. I don't want to hear about your dog or talk about the last movie you saw or trouble you're having with your girlfriend. It's going to be 100% business. Do you guys, have you encountered people that expect you instantly, well, you're my coach, you're going to be my buddy, my pal, and I'm going to waste your time chit-chatting all day, texting you about the most mundane shit?
I've had both.
No?
Yeah.
I don't mind as long as it's like, there is a point where it's like time consuming, but that's also where I just leave it on. I'll read it and I'm like, okay, this is not relevant to business, and I have business to handle over here right now. So I'll just mark it as unread, and then I'll get to it at my convenience at that point. Like, I'm not going to be a dick to them, but like sometimes, like, again, you're talking to me about something that's not even related to bodybuilding in general at all. And I've got 15 more people I got to get back to today. Like, this can wait. And they don't get mad about it, you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I it's very similar to Justin, but I will say I'm the opposite of Stefan. I enjoy the relationships that I build with my guys. I mean, I've had relationships with my clients overseas. I end up going over there and staying with them for a week. Like, I like that aspect. I don't want to, no offense to Stefan, I don't want to be that type of coach. I don't want to treat my guys just as straight business all the time. I like building relationships with my guys. That's where I'm very different.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think he's being 100%. I'm not saying he's being dishonest, but I see how he is with Urs, especially. He's clearly very, very friendly and very, very close with Urs. It's almost like a father, son, or uncle, nephew type of relationship. So
Martin as well.
some people,
Yeah, Martin too.
and Martin too. So some people, some clients, I think he does have a closer relationship, and others probably, you know, unless it's totally related to your prep or something, don't bother me, because
I kind of let my clients, I guess, kind of are the ones that call the shots on that. Like, if you want to be close and friendly with me, I will gladly open up and we can talk about other stuff. But I've had some people that, like, I'll ask them something that's non-bodybuilding related, and I just get like a quick yes, no answer. I'm like, okay, this guy's all business,
Good.
and that's cool too. Like, I'm not mad about that, but it's like, okay, this guy doesn't want to be my friend. He just wants coaching, and that's it. And then I have some people that want to be like best friends, and I'm good with both sides of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to finish with something completely unrelated, and I'm having second thoughts because, like, we've had a great conversation about the coaching, but Matt from Muscle Discord tried to throw shade on Tyler Mannion because he's dating a pro who's not even an active pro anymore. But you know, most of us in this industry, or especially if this is your job, you're not going to meet anybody outside this industry. If you're going, that young man, 31 years old, his whole life, he's on the road all the time. He doesn't have time to be going out to bars and clubs. I'm sure he's not. I didn't see a problem with it because she's not an active competitor. If she was someone he's judging on stage, then I have an issue with it. But I'll just go around the room here. And I mean, do you see any problem with someone in a position of authority dating someone who's in the industry if they don't have any authority over that particular person at that time?
With his position, the only thing I would say, you said that girl is not actively competing, right?
Right.
And fine, free game. Now, the only thing I would say differently, like if it was a different situation, is if she was competing at any level at all, whether it's NPC or all the way to the Olympia level, I don't think that would be okay, just because Tyler can literally influence whatever he wants because of who he is. But if she's retired and she's not competing, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't matter. And you're right. I mean, where is he going to go? I mean, Tyler probably doesn't drink, so he's not hanging out at bars. He probably doesn't have time to go to a football game or a baseball game or anything like that. So it's not like he's going to meet anyone unless he wants to get on a dating app. And he don't need to do that. Like, he's young, he's good looking, he's got a career, he's got everything he needs. So, like, you don't need to do that shit. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing here. If he was dating like an Olympian and he's judging her, I think the whole industry would have a problem with that. But what he's doing, free game.
I 100% agree with what Justin just said. And, like, I also think about this. Could you imagine being her and she was still competing? Anytime she wins or does well, they're immediately going to rip her to shreds.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you almost like, if you know, like if she was competing and she started dating, she might want to step down like right away, because anytime she placed at any show, that's going to be 95% of the comments.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Tyler probably has factored that in as well. Like, before he made it a relationship, he probably had a conversation. I assume he did. Like, hey, you're done with the stage, right? Yeah. Because if she comes back, it's not going to look good, right?
No, terrible.
Drama makes for the best
So I'm
content.
sure he's done his homework on this and he knows what he's doing. Because it looks bad on her, but it also looks bad on him and it looks bad on the whole league. So like him dating a retired former competitor means nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Tyler, do your thing, bro. Like that kid he's
I mean, some of those guys, like what those guys talk about on that channel, like some of it I can get behind, and then sometimes I'm like, you guys are fishing really hard with no bait.
Yeah.
Like you guys are pushing it.
He does
Like the whole Masters Olympia thing, I get it, especially them not getting paid. That's messed up. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But then like when they want to talk about stuff like this, is like, guys, I mean, I guess you got to do something for your views, right? I don't know.
I mean, I feel bad for you to bring it up, but I had it in the graphic, and now I'm like, if I don't say anything, people are gonna say, "Oh, why didn't you talk about it?" But that's all I want to say because I have no problem with it. He's going to be taking over for Jim when Jim steps down. I can't imagine Jim's going to be doing this much longer. He's like 80 years old. Damn. And he'll bring it into the 21st century. Tyler, he's very young. He's grew up with social media. He understands all that. He does those videos where he breaks down the shows and why and how the guys placed where they did, telling how they can fix certain poses. I mean, it's so detailed. And me and Mike are old enough to remember when, like in the Wayne D'Amelia days, after a show, if you didn't like the results, tough luck. Too bad. You get no explanation. It's just deal with it. And your guy got screwed. Oh well, too bad. So
next year.
It's a new era. It's a very, very different time in pro bodybuilding these days.
Yeah, and I actually feel like I don't know if this was Tyler's decision or not, but I've been around other head judges as well. Like I was around Bill this past weekend. This was a local level show. Well, it had a pro show attached to it, but there was only 8 bikini girls. So it's not like it was big. But Bill was actually backstage. So Bill doesn't do the breakdown videos like what Tyler does. Yeah. But Bill actually goes backstage and like you can either approach him or I've actually watched him approach people. And he'll just be like, hey, you need to work on this. This is why you got what you got. And this is what I saw. And he just gives it to you right on the spot.
Yeah, Bill's great.
Refreshing.
Sabilla. Is that his name?
Sabilla, yeah. I'm probably not. I've heard it pronounced 3 different ways, so I don't know which one's which. I just know it's Bill when I see him.
And if I get accused of trying to protect my press passes, and that's why I'm being so complimentary, I don't get any press passes anymore. I don't go to shows anymore. The IFB, the Pro League, they do nothing for me as far as
I got to pay my tickets to get in. I don't get in free, so
I paid mine too. Now
yeah, I'm here in my mom's basement. No, that's not true. There is. I don't have a mom or a basement. So, but yeah, that's all. I had to throw that in for like 5 seconds because I did put it in the graphic, as dopey it was. But great conversation about the coaching, guys, and I appreciate you both coming on here. You're both very, very good at what you do. Just this year alone, you've had 2 of the breakout stars of the year. Joe Palacios, phenomenal year for Joe. Can't wait to see what you do with him for 2026, Justin and Chris. Jordan, what can we say? Last year, I didn't even know who Jordan Hutchinson was. It was a vague, like, didn't he win the Nationals of the USA or something? But no idea. Now, he's on the map, and glad that you guys have had this long-standing relationship where you've been able to bring out the best in him like that. So that's it. I want to thank all you guys for joining me tonight, giving me your time, all the viewers, and that's it. Thanks for watching the Meathead podcast, guys. We'll see you right here again next time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.